Hi guys, Sapphire Yagami with a review of Once Upon a Time, Season 4, Episode 13, titled Edge of Darkness. Um, Once Upon a Time returned last night. I had missed it when it came on at 8 o'clock, so I had to wait to try to watch it once it, got on the website. So, in the opening sequence, we have Cruella de Vil's car arriving in the forest. In the character's past, in the Enchanted Forest many years ago, a gathering takes place at Maleficent's Forbidden Fortress with Maleficent, Ursula, and Cruella de Vil being brought together by an unknown person. Before they can fight amongst themselves, the person responsible for this not-so-pleasant meeting is none other than Rumpelstiltskin, of course. He appears with a plan to change their happy endings. The ladies are skeptical about his plan at first, but they listen and agree to join him. At a nearby mountain, Rumpelstiltskin points out to the ladies that the curse, which is concealed in the orb, lies within the deepest part of the area, but to reach it they must first get through a series of obstacles perfectly suited to their talents. After they complete the task, they hand the orb to Rumpelstiltskin, who reveals he was simply using them and leaves them to die at the hands of the demon Chernobog, the guardian of the mountain. The ladies hide from the demon, who seeks the person with the heart that has the darkest potential, until Maleficent notices a large crack in the wall that will provide escape. The ladies come out of hiding, and while Chernobog targets Maleficent, of course, the mistress of evil would have the heart with the darkest potential, Ursula and Cruella escape. Maleficent, thinking they are abandoning her, fights off the demon until Ursula rescues her, using her tentacles to pull her to safety. Alright, so we have the Queen of Darkness, which is Maleficent, the mistress of evil from the Sleeping Beauty story. We have Ursula, who, as we all know from the Little Mermaid story, and of course Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. Now we already know about Maleficent's powers and everything. We already know pretty much about Ursula. She's a sea goddess, becomes a sea witch. Now for Cruella de Vil, obviously she's this woman who's just really into fashion, right? And so, and so for her power, what I love what they did with it, they kept who she was, stuff. So so instead of her, in this thing as we see, get those puppies and one of them go for her, they actually gave her what is known as the power of persuasion. And if you know this in the cartoon, how Cruella is always like smoking a freaking cigarette and she always has smoke in her mouth. They took that element and and have her, blow smoke onto animals, and she could persuade them to do what she needs them to do. So it could be dogs, or in this case, it was blood beetles. So she had the power of persuasion over various animals, which I think is awesome. So they gave her some sort of magic without ever turn her to a completely magical creature. So obviously, hopefully we'll get a backstory on Cruella de Vil, and see how Once Upon a Time does the backstory, and also we'll see how Ursula goes from being worshipped as a sea goddess to becoming a sea witch. In present day in New York City, it's been 6 weeks since Mr. Gold was banished to our world. Since then, he has been making himself at home at Ursula's place. And since it's Ursula, this broad has a bunch. She works at an aquarium, and literally how her little apartment is filled with a bunch of aquariums. I'm like, maybe if you probably only have one aquarium, maybe you have some more room. I'm just saying. I know you're the Ursula. You're sea. You love your fishes, but I'm just saying. Maybe you have some more room. You got rid of some of your aquariums. Just saying. He's been making himself home at Ursula's place, eating ramen noodles and mooching off of the furious Ursula, leading to tensions between the two. However, they put their differences aside when Gold receives an email giving them the location of Cruella de Vil. The directions lead them to Long Island, where de Vil is seeing her idols repossessed by the FBI after her criminal husband is arrested. So it looks like Ursula, after the enchanted the curse that whatever brought him here, she was living good. I mean, Ursula, she was sitting there working her thing. Mr. Gold's a pawnbroker, but for Cruella de Vil, the house was nice. Like, they had good. I mean, she was living it up. I'm like, until her criminal husband did what he did. But I'm like, Cruella, she did pretty good for herself. For fairy tale character, coming to our world, she did pretty good for herself. I have to admit. But it makes sense about her character. I mean, she loves fur, so her having that sort of lifestyle would make sense. So after Gold arrives to see her lose everything, he tells her about joining him and Ursula on a trip to a place where magic exists, Storybrooke. where they hope to seek out the author of the Once Upon a Time book, who Gold believes ruined their lives in the first place and can give them their happy endings. So in we go to Storybook, as Hook and Belle attempt to find a solution to liberate the fairies from the sorcerer's hat. They talk about their feelings toward Gold and their lives as they attempt to move on from what Gold did to them. Finding a solution, the two visit Regina and Emma in Regina's office, where Regina talks about the torn page of her and Robin Hood embracing after Emma finds it in a drawer. Hook informs the two that they managed to get a professor to translate a counterspell to free the fairies from the hat, but only Regina can enact it. When the foursome, along with Mary Margaret, return to the woods, Regina uses the Dark One's dagger to release the fairies. Unfortunately, just seconds after the fairies are freed, the hat releases a thick black smoke that begins to ooze out, floating into the sky and forming the shape of the winged demon revealed to be Chernabog, and starts flying away. As the town celebrates the fairies' return, save for a remorseful Hook, Regina attempts to ask the Mother Superior about the author, who responds that the author and the sorcerer are actually two different people, and that the author had left behind clues to their identity in their works. So I'm like, oh great, now we gotta be all Sherlock Holmes and go through the pages of the book and figure out who the author is. The celebration is then interrupted by earthquake-like thunder and strange cries. The people rush out to find Chernabog perched on top of the clock tower. Realizing that he must have been released from the hat, Emma asks if they can capture him in there again, but Belle tells her that because he was released from the hat, he cannot be placed back in. Emma and Regina attempt to use their magic to destroy the demon, but quickly discover all they can do is temporarily repel it. While these events are going on inside the non-existent main town, Gold and 2/3 of the queens arrive at the town limits, where Gold has placed a marker on the tree after his banishment. Both Ursula and Cruella are skeptical at first to trust Gold, which makes sense. I mean, given his history with them, it's not so good. But since he was banned, he tells them he has to trust them to enter Storybook first, and then come back for him if they choose. Gold then hands Ursula his phone to call Regina, who, after getting the call, puts it on speaker so Emma can listen as well. The queens ask to enter Storybook since they have to realize the error of their ways and have decided to turn over a new leaf and be good. Regina, not trusting either Ursula or Cruella about giving up evil, makes a reluctant deal to let them in if they can help destroy the Chernabog. The queens inform them what Chernabog is looking for, and Regina suspects he is after her because she has the darkness in her heart. This gives Emma the idea to coax the demon to the town border since magic does not exist on the other side. Regina and Emma drive to the town border as Chernabog attacks them. As the demon smashes the windshield, Regina vanishes and reappears at the line trying to distract him. Emma slams on the brakes as she approaches the border, and Chernabog is thrown off the car and across the town line where he disappears. Seeing Cruella and Ursula standing on the other side of the town line, Regina and Emma decide they deserve a second chance, and the two are given the Snow Queen's magic scroll, which allows them to cross the line. Hours later, the ladies return and get Gold in by using the same scroll. Both David and Mary Margaret later tell Cruella and Ursula they were reluctant to let them in and they don't trust them. Mary Margaret said that they allowed them on one condition: they must never speak to anyone about what happened between them in the Enchanted Forest, especially Emma. If they do, Snow threatens to rip out their hearts, and with that plan out of the way, Gold tells the ladies that he was the one who told Belle how to free the fairies, the Professor scheme, while releasing Chernabog at the same time, who in actuality was after Emma, as Gold sees her as the one with the darkest potential. Of course, Rumpel would know which one would have the darkest potential. It's kind of like his thing. So overall, we have Once Upon a Time coming back from his from their break. And we see Gold like always has his plan already set in motion of how everything is going to be going, right? And so we know that Gold was the one that got him to release the Chernabog, but now we also know that Emma apparently has the the most potential for becoming evil is no longer Regina. So what that means is that Regina is truly on this path of redeeming herself. She's good because if she wasn't, then the thing would have actually been after her. But it's actually Emma, which kind of makes sense. It's always evil. It's always easy to kind of corrupt good. So also, what's also interesting is the fact that there's a history between Ursula. There's a history between Ursula and Cruella and Snow White and Prince Charming. So I'm just like, like what is your what is your like what happened? I was like, it's just the way that Snow said it is like something that happened between these four. So I'm like curious what the heck happened between them, and what is it that is so bad that you don't want your daughter to know? Is just I'm very curious. Like, what don't you want your daughter to know? So I can't wait to see how this is gonna go. Next Sunday's episode is gonna be titled Unforgiven. And then it's gonna be called. Then after that, it's gonna be called Into the Dragon. So obviously, we're gonna see Maleficent come back in because from the promo we have her ashes, and Rumpelstiltskin said that she's not truly dead. So obviously, Rumpelstiltskin can do something to revive her from the ashes. She's gonna rise from the ashes like a mighty dragon. And then from Enter the Dragon, we have Poor Unfortunate Souls. So obviously, it's probably gonna give us more detail on Ursula. And hopefully we can see Ariel again because I love Ariel. Little Mermaid is like my favorite Disney movie. We got Best Laid Plans. Of Heart of Gold, so obviously going it'll sound like it'll be more Rumpelstiltskin. Sympathy for Deville. Obviously it's probably gonna be about Cruella. And hopefully we'll get to see Pongo and how she has, this power of persuasion over animals. And the last episode for the season 4 will be titled Lily. So comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about Edge of Darkness. What do you think? What do you think about Rumpelstiltskin teaming up with these three, well-known villains, Ursula, Cruella, and Maleficent? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think they should just focus on one villain at a time? Like, give me your thoughts on, on this second half of the story arc. So again, comment, rate, subscribe. My name is Sapphire Yakami, and I will see you guys next time.